All right, Detroit Piston fans, I hope you're doing fine out there today. Stay warm. Doing a real quick video here. I want to appreciate you for listening and checking me out here. You could be anywhere else, but you're here checking this out. So this is one of my proposals as far as looking forward to the 2023-2024 NBA season for the Detroit Pistons. Still hoping they could turn it on at some point this season and possibly make a playoff run, but we'll have to see what happens. I do know a few years ago we had a situation with the Colorado Rockies where the Colorado Rockies were not doing so well, and I can't remember how many games they won in a row. And I want to say I think they made it to the World Series that year, but they went on a straight up winning streak. I remember at the time you used to be able to you look on the ground and actually see tickets for the game where people were just throwing them on the ground when I used to live out there. So nothing's impossible. We never know how this thing goes, how it's going to go. But this is my proposition as far as what I would like to see next year. Feel free to disagree. I don't mind. Feel free to call me crazy. I don't mind. I'm going to leave the comments open, so I'm not going to block anybody from the comments. But we all know something has to be done. Some of the proposals I have, you agree with. Some of them, you're probably going to call me crazy and call for the van to come pick me up. But all in all, we want to see this team win. It's going to may take some drastic moves to make that happen. So let's just get right down to it. So first of all, for the Detroit Pistons, I have our free agent target being Bryn Forbes. Bryn Forbes is a former Michigan State Spartan. Sorry about that light there. I'm going to try and keep that adjusted. I'm not going all in with this video here. I just want to get my comments and my suggestions and proposals out here. But free agent target should be Bryn Forbes. A lot of people and YouTubers in general have been saying that the Detroit Pistons need to get more outside shooters, better shooters from outside. And I think Bryn Forbes, a quality veteran, would fit that bill for them. You know, you're not asking him to do anything miraculous, but just put him in game situations where the game is tight and you need a couple of threes to pull away from the opponent, or you need some 3-point buckets to secure a victory. So I have him as one. He's been around the league for a while, and I think he'd be a great pick as far as free agency. The other free agent I have is Stanley Johnson, small forward, currently with the San Antonio Spurs. I don't know if the Spurs are going to re-sign him, but I say the Detroit Pistons should make a run at him or Bryn Forbes. Both of those guys, how ironic is that, have ties to the San Antonio Spurs. And Bryn Forbes was there lighting it up a few years ago, so he was one of the top players on that roster. And San Antonio has a way of compiling a roster with lots of quality veterans. So if the opportunity knocks and we can't get Bryn Forbes, I would say next one would be Stanley Johnson. And moving on here, as far as the draft is concerned, and just let me say this real quick before I go into my draft. I'm going to put this up here for you all to see real quick. But I made a video not too long ago. You can check it out. I had a link in the end here for you to see, and it was about Dwayne Casey. Is he really that bad of a coach, or is the roster too young? I do think he would excel with a more veteran-laden roster than with a young roster. That's just my opinion. But getting back to it here, my draft picks will be Armando Bacot out of North Carolina, forward, can also play center, and also Josh Roberts out of Manhattan University. He's an under the radar guy. Quiet as kept. Manhattan does have a few players that have NBA capabilities, so to speak, to them. One of them last year was Jose Perez. He's still out there. Hopefully the Pistons will go after him and go after Jordan Usher. Also wasn't drafted out of Georgia Tech. And to me, I'm still standing by my words as far as Jordan Usher getting an opportunity in the NBA. He did play a few summer league games with the Jazz, but he wasn't the focal point of the offense or defense. but I believe he is going to be a bright star in the NBA given the opportunity. You heard it here from me first. I wasn't wrong about Dennis Rodman with that. And I'm just saying Jordan Norsher and Jose Perez, hopefully we can get them on our G League roster and move forward. But yeah, those two I would draft. I know those are not the names that you've been hearing about and what you want to see, but to me that's the best possible way that we can move forward as far as getting this franchise back to respectability in the league. Moving on from the draft, one of our trade proposals here is Isaiah Livers to the Charlotte Hornets for Nick Richards. Nick Richards is a young center, former Kentucky Wildcat, and usually Kentucky Wildcat players have a great career in the NBA. We do have a couple on actually we have 3 on the roster now, but no hate against Isaiah Livers, just put him in a better situation than what he's in right now, and bring Nick Richards in. He'll help us secure the paint a little bit better. We won't have layup lines going at us every other night. And he and Jalen Duren in the paint, man, what more could you ask for defensively? So that's one of the trade proposal I have. And this guy deserves this. Is Rodney Magruder going to the Golden State Warriors for forward Jamaica. Pretty much sitting on the bench through all this losing that we've been doing, and he deserves to go to a place where he'll have an opportunity to possibly win a championship or at least go deep into the playoffs. So that's one of our proposals there. Jermichael Green is still a young guy. He had a stint with the Denver Nuggets as well as with the Los Angeles Clippers, and he was really a hot commodity when he was with the Clippers, but he's out there now in Golden State. I don't think he's getting that much time. So that will be a deal I make. Plus, you would get another point guard there to back up Steph Curry and Jordan Poole. So I think that would be something that they will bite on. My next proposal is either going to make you pull out your hair, call a little van to come pick me up, or cause you to dislike this video or put something stupid or bad in the comment section. But hey, I'm rolling with what I'm rolling with. We all want this team to win and get back to respectability. So here's my trade proposal here with the Orlando Magic. I will send Marvin Bagley III, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and trade that 2023 second-round pick that we have to Orlando for Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and that first-round pick from Chicago that Orlando has in this upcoming draft. The reason I think Orlando might bend on this is because, one, Cade Cunningham wanted to be on the same roster, I think, as Banchero, and they get that opportunity. Plus, you get a young point guard in Jaden Ivey. No hate against Jaden Ivey at all. I just would like to see him in a different situation. I think he'll strive more with the Orlando Magic than with the Detroit Pistons. And Marvin Bagley III, don't know how that's going to turn out with him. I'm not going to say he's been a disappointment since he's been with the Detroit Pistons, but we're just not getting what we anticipated when we made that deal with the when we signed him from Sacramento. So yeah, I will go with that. You get a shooting guard in Gary Harris, another point guard in Markelle Fultz, seasoned experienced players, and R.J. Hampton is a young point guard who I don't think has seen the peak of what his NBA career is going to become yet, and would love to have him here as a Detroit Piston. He would have been a Denver Nugget, but I think the Denver Nuggets drafted him and traded him to Orlando, but they have a pretty stacked roster, so you'd be lucky to see the court sometimes with the Nuggets. But they seem to be pretty tight with what they have. Just wasn't a place for him there with Jamal Murray and Bones Highland. So moving on, starting lineup would look like this, and I am a believer in Killian Hayes. Let's keep Killian Hayes as a point guard, starting point guard. Gary Harris would be my starting shooting guard. Jalen Duren would be my starting center. Kevin Knox would be my small forward starting, and I don't think they've let him out of the gate yet. I mean, the guy can ball. He can ball. You know, they once upon a time said he was another. They were speaking of him in the same conversation as Kevin Durant, and I still think he has it. And Armando Bacot will be your power forward. So this team will get a huge lift defensively from a starting lineup like this. I think they will be top 5 in the league as far as a defensive starting unit is concerned, with Killian, Gary Harris, Jalen Duren, Kevin Knox, and Armando Bacot. And going over to the reserves on your bench here, still got pretty much a great defensive team here. You got Markelle Fultz coming off the bench, R.J. Hampton, Hamidou Diallo. I'm still a believer in him. He's a very explosive player. He can shoot the rock. You got Brent Forbes coming off the bench as a shooting guard. And you got your Michael Green, Josh Roberts, Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Nick Richards coming off the bench. So you may not have a flashy roster, so to speak, but you're going to have what it takes to make this team competitive going forward. And I think a situation like this with Dwayne Casey at the helm, we will see a lot better results. I know people want that Victor and Scoot Henderson, no knock on those guys, but it's going to take a lot more than that to turn this franchise around. And we as Piston fans, we've been sitting here for a long time and watching and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and the situation hasn't gotten any better. So this is my suggestion here. Let me know what you agree with or what you don't agree with in the comment section. Yes, I am standing by my words on Jordan Usher. If he's out there, sign him. Don't let anyone else get him, because if Golden State pulls what they pulled with Travion Williams and wind up signing Jordan Usher, then, you know, look out, because Travion Williams went under the radar. And speaking of which, there are a few other players that I would like the Pistons to look at that went undrafted that could actually help out and you know, put them on the G League roster. And if you have to call them up, you'll get great results. And like I said, Jordan Usher is one. Jose Perez is one out of Manhattan. Jared Houston is one of my favorites. This guy, if he gets in the league, he's out of Emerson College. If he gets in the league, he'll be mentioned up there as far as MVP conversations, the same way that Nikola Jokic was. Nikola Jokic didn't get all the hype and all that stuff. He was pretty much under the radar, and look what he became. And Jared Houston is another player that I believe would have the same results. Also, if we can get a couple other guys maybe to our G League roster, and that one will be Diabate. I think he's playing out there for the Clippers. If we can get him, and then my other guy is I'm thinking of his name, out of Michigan State, the center out of Michigan State. I'll put his name in the comment section when it comes to me. But I was really big on him coming out of Michigan State, and I'm not sure if he's playing in the G League or not, but I'll put his name in the comment section. But let me know at the end, you know, let me know in the comment section what you think about this. This isn't one of my beautiful videos. I didn't do all the bells and whistles on this one. This is just something I thought up and posted out there for Detroit Pistons fans. We do got decisions to make. Got a lot of different ways we can go next season, and hopefully we're sitting pretty at this time next year. Thanks for listening.